The mythology around the Lost Dutchman has inspired thousands of treasure hunters throughout the years.
We used two known clues that Jacob Waltz, the Dutchman, used, and it was in the northwest end of the range, and Weaver's Needle is to the south.
These fellow explorers, fueled by a passion for discovery and a hunger for the hunt, have often spent years, if not decades, of their lives in search of this elusive treasure.
It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Only to end up with nothing.
I think in terms of its contribution to the historical and archaeological record, U.S. history, this is the most sought-after lost treasure in the world.
And while there is, admittedly, no shortage of people who claim to have found something in the Superstition Mountains, none have offered any kind of substantial evidence to support their claims, until now.
We have to treat this like it's $1 billion of gold.
The legend of the Lost Dutchman mine is as easy to get lost in as the desert in which it hides. Beyond the clues left behind by the Lost Dutchman himself, Jacob Waltz, was a 17th century map known as the Primaria Alta, or Middendorf map.
I think the difference between us and other treasure hunters is we're looking for truth, and we search every avenue.
This hand-illustrated map, apparently created by a Jesuit priest named Bernardo Middendorf, portrays a rough geography of the local southwestern terrain.
We didn't expect to find anything. We went out there thinking, what the heck, this is just an adventure. So we ran up there and we're looking around, and you start finding stuff, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I gotta lose some weight because we need to come back out here again. And then the more you find, the more inspired you get. And the more inspired you get, the more you find. Yeah, it's exciting.
In addition, the map offered a general location of the Peralta stone tablets, the same stone tablets that will offer Jon and his team the primary clues needed to uncover this long-held mystery. The Peralta stone maps will ultimately prove instrumental in helping Jon and his team discover the location of two specific buried caches and possibly reference an as yet unknown third cultural site.
What we believe is buried out there isn't just gold and treasure. I mean, those are all great things, but there's also history buried out there. We believe that there are pieces of the Jesuit church, that's the missions, that are all buried out there. They're documents. We're trying to preserve the history and make a discovery. I mean, how awesome is that?
If you can actually make a contribution that helps change the course of history, it shows that there is other activity, maybe of the Spanish, in this area. It rewrites our whole ideas about how the Spanish came here, how their missions were set up, and what their whole idea of expansion was.
Because Bernardo Middendorf founded that mission in 1757. In 1984, there's this treasure hunt that went on out there where they found 6 separate stashes, I think 82 pounds of gold bars, with Jesuit stamps on there, the cross and the V. They're right next to Tumacacri Mission. So definitely evidence that they did smelting techniques. I mean, they were highly educated, so they had the best mining and smelting techniques of their time.
Once the historic evidence leads them to the actual location, modern technologies are implemented to penetrate deep into the earth, measuring both ground density and conductivity.
The most compelling evidence to me is that we have a number of sophisticated remote sensing techniques that look at things under the ground, that tell us that there is an object that has been buried, and it is both highly conductive and very dense. And typically the only explanation in this area is either gold or silver.
Found that piece of gold.
We were looking for the Lost Dutchman's mine, so we're using Jacob Waltz clues. They led us into this area. Once we got there, though, we found the cave, which was a Jacob Waltz clue. But then we found that triangle marker.
The triangle marker, or Nodo Triangulum, is the first of several man-made markers found. It offers scale and orientation. It also offers evidence of a history stretching back as far as 250 years by way of a little-known dating method called lichenometry. Lichenometry is a geomorphic method of geochronologic dating that uses lichen growth to determine the age of exposed rock.
The Noto Triangulum, that's a piece of a different treasure hunt. That's a Jesuit treasure hunt that's taking place on the east end of the range. We're in the northwest end of the range. This is happening in the east end of the range. So I think what the reason why no one had ever found this is because if you use the Lost Dutchman's clues, it might put you right on top, just like it put my son and I right on top of it. But how are you going to find it? Because he buried it and made it look exactly like the ground. I mean, like he said, you could pack a mule train right over the top of it, not even know you did. So even if you used his clues and you got right on top of it, you're not going to find it. So you have to combine two different treasure hunts of information together to figure it out. One gets you in the general area, the other one pinpoints the locations. You can't have one without the other.
Equipped with this new scientific data, the team is emboldened with a new certainty that they have in fact found what they were looking for. But what does this new data imply?
What do you do when you find the Holy Grail, right? And you may not have all of the skills and tools that maybe archaeologists and geologists and hydrologists do.
When it came time for us to select our team, we wanted the best. So we went and searched the colleges, asked around who was the, quote, Indiana Jones of the local colleges. And that's how we found Bill. And then Ed Davis is Ed Davis. Anybody who knows geology in Arizona knows who Ed Davis is.
My client actually went out and found a team of professionals that could scrutinize his ideas, and they've all stood up to that scrutiny.
Somebody buried something in a location that these artifacts predict. And I have an inventory and the crosshairs on this. You know, Anna Karen, 1/2 chain due north of this stash. Conductivity, which is metal detection, and GPR results that says there's boxing, right angles, 18 square foot of something dense and metallic and backfilled. I mean, I don't know what more to say.
Regardless of the ever-evolving body of evidence Jon's team continues to amass, no one will ever truly know what lies beneath the earth in these locations until it is excavated and the truth is revealed.
Right now we have an exclusive permit and rights to record and survey our study area, and we need to generate some type of scientific report or a year-end report to describe our findings. And then we're working on getting all sorts of media and promotional materials to then present to the U.S. government.
One thing is for sure, based on mere statistical evidence alone, someone buried something in a remote location, deep in the heart of this unforgiving terrain. And after a 9-year search, finding out what that something is means everything. With this find and its implications for history and riches, Jon, his son Tyler, and his team will continue to press on, engaging others who have a passion for the truth and a hunger for the hunt until it is finally revealed to the world.